So I had to take that out.
Yeah, I did a good thing. No. Yeah, I know.
Cool. Anyway, listen, man, I got so many questions I want to ask you, but let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because me and you, we pretty much started the same time.
Yes, sir.
And what I heard that when you started, you used to rock with Christos.
Yeah.
And then you'd play the last 15 minutes of his set. And that's how, like, you got your name out there.
No.
Is it?
No, Chris is not like that. You know, Chris is one of the... Man, he's one of the most generous, most giving people that I know. You know, by the way, that's not when I started. I started way before then. My story is crazy because I started in different places. So in Joburg, yes. You know, in Ibiza, yes. You know, I mean, I got an award for Best Newcomer in Ibiza when, I don't know, I had so many awards at home already.
Yeah.
So my story has been like that, you know. But Chris didn't do that. Didn't give me 15 minutes, you know. He would literally, you know, allow me to play before, and then we do back-to-backs. I remember first time we went to his house, just to break the story so you understand.
Yeah.
We were all excited. We were still a group, Ishana, you know, and another Greek friend of ours, Christos, wanted to introduce us to Chris. He says, man, you guys need to work with Christos. You know, I hear your sound and I think you guys can work well. And I don't know how you put the whole thing together. We were driving to Christos' house, you know, extremely excited. And at the time, he was living in the East. I don't remember where exactly. Got to this house, and I'm like, wow, you know. Because the DJ thing hasn't been a formalized or structured thing, you know, for a while, you know. So walking into someone's house, you see a band's in the garage.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
because he's Christos at that time. He's big.
You know, you see there's a big band. I'm like, wow. And there's a house with a swimming pool. You know, I'm like, wow, this is the shit I want.
Yeah.
Basically, we walk into the studio. He has like a wall. He must have like 100,000 records. You know, in his studio, like they're against the wall. So we're in awe. You know, so we started like jamming, started doing work together. That's how we met Lebo Matosa, who was trying to come back into the industry at the time. So we also got involved in the album.
Yeah, he did Teka.
Yes. At that time, I was doing my production stuff alone, you know, outside the group. And I would give it to him, you know, and he started liking the stuff. It was improving. He started playing some of the stuff. And he was like, you know what? Because I didn't go there as a DJ. We went there as a collective. So he was like, I need to start taking you around, you know, some of the gigs and, you know, and what he would do, man, we would be in studio. Back in the day, most music was on vinyl. A vinyl would cost like 100 rands, A-pop.
Jeez.
Sometimes, depending, 120 A-pop. And Chris would get like a crate of new vinyls. All the shops would give him a crate for him to choose what he wants in his house. And I would watch him, man. He would just take a record, just go, skip, left. Left he takes, go, skip, left. And I'm counting, 100. And some were weird. Some like, are you buying that? And he's like, no, I like the kick. So you buy a record for 100 rands.
Just for the kick.
You know, that's how much money you have. Like, so he was like that guy. And then what was crazy for me is before we do these gigs, he would just on weekends come with like 10, 15 CDs. Because he would record the music onto CDs from the vinyl. Yeah. He will also make himself a playlist and make Black Coffee a playlist. Do you understand how much time it takes?
Sure.
You know, so Chris would give me a pouch of this music he spent so much money on, like a pouch. Like I could not believe all these records that I couldn't afford. He would be like, here's your music, basically.
This is for before like Trexos
Bro,
and all
come
that
on.
stuff. Yeah.
So I had the best music. And the guy basically was buying music for us. Wow. So and then we'd do the gigs, and no, it wasn't 15 minutes. He would give me, he's like one of the realest people I know, man.
Yeah.
I owe a lot to that guy.
So when does Kalawa knock in? Like when do they start calling?
So I keep playing him the songs. Start doing gigs. I was doing a lot of bootlegs, which we're both now playing at the gigs. And we're trying to figure out who to release with. And Tbose had a joint venture deal with Gala at the time.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to sign you, ne?
There you go.
Yeah.
And then so I'm starting to talk to Tbose, who also invited me to a gig in Bloom. And
This is Tbose from KFM, by the way.
Tbose, Mukwele, for real?
Yeah, so he's like, man, come, let's go to a gig in Bloom. I'm like, cool, says, come to my house. I'm like, yes. Because I want to see this guy's house too. I want to be inspired by how this DJ live, because choosing music was such a challenge for me, like from my family side, just being an artist, what are you going to do? Who do you know that has a family structure type of thing? And,
How are you going to make money?
So I go to Tbose, a friend of mine drops me off, same thing. I'm like, wow. And he takes me around, he has a bar. He's like, this is my bar in the house. I'm like, man, God.
This is crazy.
Copy and paste the prayer. And the most beautiful thing happened when we were there. He was there with his wife, and we were about to drive, and he takes out his whip. He's driving a Lexus, like the SUV. I had never seen the car. Like, wow, so you can DJ and own this car. Reverses the car. We get into the car. We drive slowly. Said bye to his wife, and the wife stands there. She doesn't leave. We drive slowly towards the gate. He looks back. She's just standing. He's like, oh, man, I'm coming back. He gets out. He just goes back just to give her a hug again. I'm like, oh. I want to be a DJ. Yeah. Now I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because all my life I've been told, the DJ thing is just like, it's a street thing. You can't do it, and this was proof, like you can have a solid life and a family and a structure and, which then I aspired to have a family, which that's a story for another day.
Yeah. So when do you meet Oskido then? Like when does he take you under his wing?
Then with the conversation with Christos, then, because I used to do these CDs, they were just all written Black Coffee and no one knew what or who Black Coffee was. They didn't know if it's even a name. They were all just written Black Coffee. Oh. So everyone was making copies, playing all these bootlegs. No one knew. And so when I met Oskido, he was playing the Black Coffee CDs, and I told him the same story. I'm like, I'm talking to Tbose. Chris is not in a good position to help me, so I'm looking for a deal. Even Lindelanum Kids at the time, he was like, let's look at opportunities. And I remember I went with the same guy who had dropped me off at Tbose's house, Cisco. He still owns a record shop in Pretoria. So I walked into Oskido's house with a white guy. Oskido's like, my man, you came with the lawyers.
Already?
I'm like, no, this is my friend. He's just dropping me off. He's not a lawyer, So we were just like, listening to the music. It's like, okay, I'm going to talk to the guys, and see if but I think your project is amazing. And so we did a licensing deal with Kalawa for my first album.
Because when I spoke to Oskido, he was telling me that you were so persistent. Like, because at the time, it's Oskido's Kalawa's the biggest thing. And you found out where you stayed.
See guys that, are consistent in dreaming. I was probably number one. Like, at any gig where Glenn Lewis was playing, I'll be in the front. He even recognized my face just from attending gigs. Fresh, any gig with Fresh, or it's in Durban. Every time there's Fresh in town, I'm there. Because I was so fascinated by First, music all my life. That's all I've done. So now there's this DJing thing that I can explore. How does it work? You know, can you really make a career out of it? Who can I look up to? Who's done it? Who's doing it? What are they doing? And how can I do it better? You know, if I was given a chance. So I was really persistent.
In your head, did you have alternatives in case you get disappointed by the picture you see of DJs?
No. So here's